Well, hello and welcome to another Faith, Philosophy and Life with me, Mr. Shelton. It's great to see you. I do hope you and your family are doing well. Today's a little bit more of a debatey one, which is going to be a bit awkward for you being at home. So you might want your phone to WhatsApp or Messenger or whatever you guys are doing in terms of modern communication technology that I'm just so old I've got no idea what I'm talking about. So what we're going to start with is I've got a little clip that I found from the Open University. Don't panic, it's not that complicated. It was also done by Radio 4, which is also makes it sound complicated, but it's not. The question is, would you flick the switch? It's a classic trolley problem by Philippa Foot. I'd like you to watch this now.
A runaway train is heading towards 5 workers on a railway line. There's no way of warning them, but you're standing near a lever that operates some points. Switch the points, and the train goes down a spur. Trouble is, there's another worker on that bit of track too, but it's 1 fatality instead of 5. Should you do that? Many people think the right thing to do would be to switch the points, to sacrifice 1 to save 5, since that produces the best outcome possible. Now imagine the train heading for the workers again. This time it can only be stopped by pushing a very large man off a bridge. His great bulk would stop the train, but he'd die. Should you do that? Most people say no. But why not? Both thought experiments are cases of sacrificing 1 to save 5. What the trolley problem examines is whether moral decisions are simply about outcomes or about the manner in which you achieve them. Some utilitarians argue that the 2 cases are not importantly different from each other. Both have similar consequences, and consequences are all that really matter. In each case, 1 person dies and 5 are saved, the best option in each harrowing situation. But lots of people say they would switch the points, but they wouldn't push the man off the bridge. Are they simply inconsistent, or are they onto something?
Okay, so we're in a unit about sin and forgiveness, and we've been thinking last lesson about what punishment is, and we're this lesson going to be thinking about this topic here. What is morality and ethics? Time to grab your pen and paper, because here's our cheesy intro sequence. Brilliant. So now you've got that. Hopefully you've got the title written down, the date. Our learning objective is to explore what's understood by morality. It's going to be a good outcome if you can consider what makes an act wrong, define relative and absolute morality, and can link conscience and virtues to morality. It's going to be great if you can explain where Christians draw their guidance from when they consider what morality is, and even better if you can link these to some Bible quotes that will obviously help you with exam answers as well. So our literacy spelling today has to be spelling of looking at unfamiliar words. During today's session, we're going to think about what would you do. We're going to look at some influences. We're going to look at a couple of task sheets, and then there's a discussion question for you to get on with. First off then, what I'd like you to do is thinking back actually to that scenario. Would you flick the switch? Would you intentionally kill 4 people, or would you intentionally kill 1 person? Or would you walk away? In fact, walking away is just the same as killing 4 people, because they were going to die anyway. So do you look at this as killing 4 people, or do you look at this as saving 4 people, even if you end up killing 1? And then the next question then has to be, would you push the bloke off the bridge? Well, most people would say they probably wouldn't, because that would be seen as something really, really, really bad. Or for those of you that may have seen A Good Place on Netflix, would you be willing as a surgeon to do an operation on one person who's got no friends and isn't going to be missed, so that you could take organs out of them and put them into people with friends and family? Would that be an acceptable thing to do? Most people would probably say no to that, but then why is flicking the switch any different? And then for those people that are historians, we've got the Nuremberg trials, where people in the gas chambers flicked the switch, but they claimed in the trial subsequently that they were only following orders. Would that be acceptable? There's a bit of psychology there that you can always do a little bit of work on a bloke called Skinner. So there's lots of stuff there to be thinking about, and morality is all about making decisions, things that are right and wrong. So here are our keywords. Ethics then is the study of things that are good and bad. Influence is the power to affect people. Morals, which is the idea that you've got about things that you believe to be right and wrong. And morality, which is being able to choose between right and wrong. So make sure you've got those definitions down and then come back to me. Okay, for our next task then, we're going to do influence diamonds. So I've laid it out there for you that you can lay it out in your book. And the idea is, forget my numbers, they're just there as an example. The idea is that you work out what of these are the most influential. The things that are most influential goes at the top, and the things that are least influential to you go at the bottom. So if you start with saying family is the most influential, then that goes in the top box. And see if you can work out why you've selected the things that you have as well. So give that a go, and then come back to me. Okay, so far during today's session, hopefully what we've done is we've started to think about what morality is, but we haven't really gone into a huge amount of depth on the key concepts that we've talked about. So what I need you to do is to access the information sheet, which is linked in the description below, so please access that now. And there are some questions on the screen for you to be working out, and there's some questions on that sheet as well. And you also need to explain what's understood by the term absolutism. That's a mark, as an A question for EDUCAS, so that's 2 marks. That's therefore an explain and example as well. So this is going to take you 20 minutes or so. So have a read over that and then come back to me. So pause me and let's get on. Okay, so the next thing then is to think about what do Christians actually think. So behind me are a load of different phrases that different Christians might have. I'd like you to choose 2 of them, and I'd like you to summarize that into your own notes and explain, do you agree with them or not, and why? So have a read of that. Again, description below has got all these in. Choose 2 of them, summarize them down. Do you agree with them or not, and why? There's actually, there they are, a bit bigger on the screen for you. Okay, very nearly at the end then. So I've got 3 exam questions for you to work on. You may have already done A, so if you've already done A, don't do it again. But you've got question B, which is describe ways in which religious belief can change people's attitudes, opinions and actions. 5 marks, therefore you need 4 points of view, or 4 comments, and a quote which is explained. Link back, remember our tool items from last lesson. Remember any of the sources of authority that you've looked at today as well. And then a D question, which you may have a go at depending on how much longer of this lesson you've got, is it's wrong for people to try to influence other people either positively or negatively. So think back to punishment from last time, because that's also an influence. So I'm going to leave it there today. Thanks very much for your time. Take care of yourself, stay safe, wash hands, God bless you. Please get all your work sent through to us as teachers, because we're not just nosy, we want to know how you're getting on. And any questions, obviously, send them through. Take care. Bye.